Hi, this is Alex Chafee, and today I'll be talking to you about my experiences at both the Israel Museum and the Knesset. Now, I always get very excited when I go into a museum because I love ancient civilizations. In fact, that's my intended focus of my religion degree, is religion in the ancient world. There was much more than ancient material at the Israel Museum, but I got so caught up in the archaeological wing that I neglected to spend any time at most of the other exhibits. Probably the most exciting part for me was going to see the Dead Sea Scrolls. Now, unfortunately, we weren't allowed to take any pictures when we were in there, so I have nothing to show you. We went to go see the Dead Sea Scrolls before actually going to the Qumran caves, but by this point we had already read so much about the Dead Sea Scrolls and studied it so much in previous classes that this was still a very exciting experience. Everywhere I went, I was amazed by all of the artifacts, so I thought that the best way to present my experience at the Israel Museum would be to share with you some of the things that I found the most exciting. This is a lintel from Rabbinic Academy from the 7th century BCE. Although it may be difficult to see in this picture, it has two eagles flanking a wreath with Hebrew inscriptions that say, "Blessed shall you be when you arrive, blessed shall you be when you depart." Here we have an Aramaic inscription from the 9th century BCE which commemorates the victory of the king of Aram. This is actually the oldest reference to the House of David outside of the Bible. This is Sennacherib's prism from 691 BCE. It commemorates the Assyrian king's victory over Hezekiah, king of Judah. This is an Assyrian wall relief from the early 9th century which depicts a date palm flanked by two protective genies. Here we have a child's pull toy from the 11th to 10th century BCE in the shape of an otter. From the Greek collection spanning several centuries, we have several amphora, figurines of deities, and other things such as rings. This is a Canaanite statue from the 15th to 13th century BCE of a figure with a large basin. Its style shows a clear link to Syrian and Hittite art. This is the dedication from the Tiberium at Caesarea, and it is the only archaeological evidence for the existence of Pontius Pilate. From a villa in the suburb of Pompeii, this remarkably well-preserved wall painting depicts a flying Eros. From the 2nd century CE, this is the Artemis of Ephesus. There is much scholarly debate as to the things on her chest. It is either breasts or bull's testicles. These are sections of a triumphal arch from the early 2nd century BCE, which commemorates Hadrian's victory over the Bar Kokhba revolt. Here we have a bronze statue of Hadrian himself from the early 2nd century CE. Here we have a crusader's sword, a spearhead, several arrowheads, and part of a dagger, all dating to the 12th to 13th century CE. This is a bronze sword from the 12th to 8th century BCE, and on the hilt is a depiction of Gilgamesh and Enkidu slaying Humbaba. Here we have several items all dating to the 2nd millennium BCE, and among them are figurines such as Gilgamesh standing on Humbaba's head, as well as a plaque depicting Humbaba's face. The Knesset was a very different experience to that of the Israel Museum. While we looked at ancient history in the Israel Museum, we saw a more modern Israel in the Knesset. I say more modern intentionally because the Knesset incorporates many elements of the ancient in its foundation. For starters, the Knesset is made up of 120 members. This number is derived from Jewish tradition, and it is intended to reflect the number of members in the Great Assembly from the 2nd century BCE. Additionally, the Knesset contains artwork that brings together both ancient history, according to the Old Testament, as well as modern history, such as the founding of the State of Israel. Brings today's blog to a conclusion. Thanks for watching. Bye.